Welcome back. Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. I'm going to jump into the topics of this video a little quicker. Apparently my intro was a little too long yesterday. I think it was like 2 minutes. But I want to preface this video talking about the fact making money. So people, and I've read this in comments, I've read this in videos, you can tell the tone as well. A lot of people get looked down upon for investing in cryptocurrency purely for profit. And realistically, I've never done a survey for this, but you could say at least 50, I think 50% would be a very low estimate, but I would say at least 50% of people who are involved in cryptocurrency are purely invested to make profit. And again, that number is probably much higher. Probably way more than 50% of the people that are invested in cryptocurrency are only in it for profit. And I also just want to, this is part of why I'm saying this. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In the community especially, you'll hear people like demonize people like that, like, you don't care about the tech, you're only in it to make money. First of all, if that is true, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. People are allowed to want to make investments, and people are allowed to want to increase the size of their investments by, having their portfolio grow in value. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if people say that or get invested for that purpose, more power to them. That is exactly what has happened in the past year in particular. People came into it looking for profit, myself included, and then learned about the tech and became increasingly interested, and then got more involved in researching and getting excited about that as well, in addition to the tech, or in addition to the price as well. So even if people enter this space and never care about the tech and don't care about what cryptocurrency can do for everyone and how cool it is, even if people don't care about that kind of stuff, I don't think there's anything really wrong with that either. And yeah, I guess it kind of goes along with my question that I posed yesterday, and I want to get into some responses at the end of the video about that too. So I'm excited to talk about that because there were a lot of good responses again. To start off though, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for updates. And yeah, we can just jump right into this. So let me pull up the screen here. So this article, I'm not going to really go through it, but this is an idea that I've been saying for about 2 or 3 months now. This was published on Cointelegraph.com. It was written by William Suberg. The title here is Bitcoin Falls Through $6,000 Support as Zappo President Warns of Altcoin Extinction Event. Currently the price of Bitcoin is a little over 6,000. Litecoin's right around 51, 52. And so I want to get into this idea, but if we just scroll down, I want to find the part where he talks about it. Bitcoin dominance increases, hits high not seen since December of 2017, calling for a repeat of the altcoin bull market, which began in the latter half of the month. So the individual here, Zappo President Ted Rogers, considered current conditions conducive to producing an extinction level event for cryptocurrencies en masse. He's quoted here as saying 90+% of CoinMarketCap list will disappear eventually. Might as well happen now. He warned me. So I don't necessarily think it will happen now. I think it would be really cool if it did, and I'll explain why. And this is something I've been saying for a while too. So if we just go over to CoinMarketCap.com, you can see there's currently 1,833 cryptocurrencies, many of which should not have $1 worth of valuation, but they do. This market is saturated with coins that, and most of these coins in the top 100 are not those coins. Most of these are coins that, if anything, could be considered more legitimate than many of them. So I'll go into we can just look. This might slow down my computer a bit because there's like 2,000 of these that are going to pull up. But these coins, realistically, most of these coins, there's no need for any of them. And some of them have significant valuations. If we just look at some of these coins here, all of these have $14 million global market caps. Some of these are ridiculous valuations for no reason. And so why I think it's good that eventually, potentially, as this individual in the article is saying, there will be an altcoin extinction event where, not necessarily the top 20 coins or the top 30, but I think in general more of what he's talking about, and at least what I'm talking about as well, is a lot of these coins, over the 1,000, 1,300, 1,600 plus in the position in the market right now, many of them don't need to exist, and they're just kind of taking up space, taking up value. And just imagine if all of the value or at least a fraction of the value of some of these went into coins that were considered more legitimate, i.e. Bitcoin. And that's what we've also been seeing over the past 2 weeks. Even though coins considered more legitimate, such as Ethereum, are kind of getting drained. Bitcoin dominance is at currently about 55%, which is ridiculous. I think it'll be good that eventually, I don't think there should be 2,000 roughly cryptocurrencies. I don't think there should be 500 cryptocurrencies. This is my opinion. There should probably be less than 100 cryptocurrencies. Probably much, even less than that. And so that would fit pretty well with what he's saying. 90% plus should disappear. And I think that's what we will see. And good news for people holding coins that have some real value. Those will hopefully, absorb a lot of the market cap of those other coins and give real value to them. And that's one of the ways we can see the market kind of explode in a good way in the future. But this period that we're in right now, if there's anything to be optimistic about, potentially just about getting some of these guys sucked out of some of these coins that really have no purpose. Maybe some of these do. Maybe a coin 1,500 down in the list is the next best coin. But most of these are not, and most of these are just projects looking to get value out of the market, and most likely the creators trying to sell their coins for profit. Anyway, the next thing I want to jump into as well. So one thing to look out for: Bitcoin and the entire market has been on a massive downtrend, in particular the last two or 3 days. So one thing to look out for, like we've been seeing multiple times over the past few months, is a potential short squeeze, where a lot of these short positions might get liquidated, and you could see a massive price rise up. We saw this pretty recently. We've seen it many times over the past few months. So just be prepared for that. Anytime the price dramatically drops, it's always possible. Here we can see the Bitcoin shorts right here. You can see it's pretty high, so you never know if it's going to be liquidated. You can see when it got up here back in April, liquidated pretty fast. You see the price of Bitcoin go up immediately, and so who knows if a similar situation will happen again. Probably, maybe today, maybe sometime this week, who knows. Just watch out for that. But a massive pump in price doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin's on its way back up to 20,000, of course. So if we do see a price pump from like 6,000 to 7,000 or 8,000, I wouldn't get too excited right now. There are a lot more significant barriers that Bitcoin would have to break before you get optimistic, and jumping another $1,000 or $2,000 immediately potentially could be a short squeeze. It's not anything to really get super crazy hype about. And so a question I'd asked in the previous video was just how why people are sticking around in cryptocurrency. And so I want to start off with some of these comments here. So Rob says, "I'm checking the crypto standings every day since 1, I'm very invested in the technology. 2, I'm very invested in the adoption process and the change behavior of governments and big companies." Again, that's a really good point. I like that a lot. The most obvious and truthful, I think, is I've invested thousands of euros, and I would like to see that turn into gains or at least break even. And he's also just saying cryptocurrency YouTubers can be entertaining. Let's go to the next comment here by Escape the Matrix, saying he likes to follow the news daily to see how much money I'm losing, but I love technology, so I like to see what's happening with the tech and see what new companies are popping up. The blockchain changed everything, and yeah, so I thought that was a good comment as well. We have 2 comments here. Cam Shram saying, by the way, if I don't read your comment, there was a lot to choose from, and I just tried to pick out the ones that caught my eye very quickly. I'm sticking around for the first reason you mentioned. I have money invested, and it's comforting to see that there's a community of people who are invested like me, hoping for it to go back up too. I do hope cryptocurrency is adopted worldwide, but honestly, that's not the main reason I'm invested in it. I like seeing coins like Litecoin making great moves and technological advances, because I know whichever community can make the most advances with their coin of choice right now will have a better chance of their coin increasing in price significantly during the next run. Very true. And then Romax said, good question to ask yourself, I think. Why do I keep watching and engaging since the bear market? I think it is because I'm trying to keep in touch with what's going on, because I'm pretty deep financially. And I think that kind of, we've already read that in a few of these comments, and I think that's kind of the common theme as well. Obviously, that has a lot to do with it. He says, I've been learning more about what I've actually invested in as well. Can't say I'm big on research, especially when things were going off. And especially the end here, has to admit, I'm getting concerned by how low the alts are going, but I'm still truly excited by the potential of the space. Many projects I think will do unbelievably well. I agree with that. He says the question is when. That is the question. I also did tweet yesterday, last night, that in the middle of like the altcoins really going down, that Bitcoin is holding pretty well, but I was just kind of posing the question, is this percentage-wise the worst crash for altcoins in history? And I believe that it is. And then we just have another few comments here. You can just pause the screen if you want to read some of these as well. Benji says, I check in most days because I'm obsessed with it. I'm fascinated by the whole thing. It's like a soap opera, but better. Although I'm currently streamlining the content that I'm watching and receiving, this bear market has exposed the charlatans on crypto social media. And this is also one of my favorite comments by Asad Harari, I believe. He says here, crypto is fast. If you miss a week, you can potentially miss the whole year's worth of your investment. Information moves fast in the crypto world, so you have to keep up to date. And that's true. And that's, I think, why a lot of people are exhausted, is because they feel like they have to keep up to date, even in a bear market, even when prices are down 10, 15, 20% every single day on some of their holdings. Yeah, that's basically it. I do have a question then that I wanted to ask at the end of this. What percent of your portfolio, if you don't mind, I guess I can phrase it this way, are you in Bitcoin at all, or are you only invested in alts? I guess you can delve deeper into that, partially invested in Bitcoin, partially in alts, or just straight alts, or just straight Bitcoin. I'm curious what people think about that, because I get a lot of comments about a lot of altcoins, but rarely on Bitcoin in particular. So I tend to think a lot of people are primarily invested in altcoins only. So yeah, I would love to know what that is, or know what the answer to that is. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by, and hang in there.